So this is your hideout, huh? Always wonder what you did during the day. Worthless. Eat and sleep. In this video, we're going to be looking at the 2017 Hyundai Elantra. Although I have the habit of pronouncing it Hyundai because that's the way I've heard it when I was overseas. Although here in Australia they call it the Hyundai, as in Crocodile Dundee. Not the most exciting design I've ever seen, but pleasant enough. Here's the side view and the rear. Before we talk about this particular car, it's a good idea to talk about the Elantra line overall because it comes in several different flavors. On the beginning level, you have the base Elantra that starts around $17,000, and on the upper end, you have the Elantra Sport, which maxes out at around $25,000. Under the hood, the Elantra Sport has a potent 200 horsepower engine with a rating of 22 to 30 mpg if you get the manual transmission. If you're smart enough to order the automatic, it jumps up to 26 to 33 mpg. The second engine is a 1.4 liter turbo putting out 128 horsepower called the Eco engine, rated at 32 city, 40 mpg on the highway. We ended up with the third engine choice. It's a 2-liter turbo putting out 147 horsepower. With the automatic transmission like we have, it's 28 mpg in the city, 37 on the highway. It's also available with the manual transmission, but the mileage drops to 2636 overall. This particular Elantra is called the Value Edition. You get a lot of standard equipment that ordinarily you have to pay optional for, most of it luxury items. So you save around $1,200. Which gives you a price of $20,250 overall. There aren't supposed to be any options on this particular model, but as always, they cheated, as most car manufacturers do. They had to add carpeted floor mats, a cargo net, and a cargo tray, which is fine. But come on, guys, if you're going to make luxury stuff standard, shouldn't these items be standard? Come on. So this brought the entire price with shipping at $21,360. Which is still a good value, and keep in mind that Hyundai dealers often discount a lot more than the Japanese, so you can get the price down even less. By the way, for those who care, even though 71% of the parts are from Korea, these are assembled by Americans in Montgomery, Alabama. Pardon my shaky hand, but I don't have my tripod. One of the reasons that people watch my videos instead of other videos is because the first thing we do when we get a car is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they work. After all, everybody drives at night one time or another, right? So let's do that right now. It's dark enough. Let's see what these headlights will do. Here we have the headlights on a wall 100 feet away. Not the brightest lights I've ever seen, but a pretty good spread. Adequate for city driving. Go to high beam. Well, that's far better. Here we have the high beam setting on a building 300 feet away. There's a chain link fence in between. Lights up pretty good. Go to low beam. Doesn't reach all the way, but out around 260 feet. More than adequate enough. Overall, no complaints. From the headlight test, let's move to the interior and see what we're sitting in here. Our stupid government bureaucrats and their infinite wisdom rate cars of this size as 5 passengers. In reality, they're 4 passengers. You're not going to fit more than 2 people on the second row seating. But in the case of the Hyundai Elantra, there's plenty of room for 2 adults. And I think you'll be fairly comfortable back here. Before this car was delivered, I got on the web to see what automotive magazines and other YouTube people had to say about this vehicle, and I noticed that almost all of them complained about the interior being made of cheap plastic and other substandard materials, and frankly, I don't know what they're talking about because I don't see any problems at all. No, this isn't fancy. but it's more than adequate, especially for a car in this price class. I don't have any complaints. And this tan interior brightens things up a bit. We get a large glove box, thank you very much, and there's even more room if you take the owner's manual out and stick it in the door panel over here. Let's face it, you're not going to read that stuff anyway, right? A super simple climate control system, couple knobs, a few buttons. Pretty foolproof. Same with the sound system, real volume knob, real tuning knob, simple buttons. Doesn't get any simpler than that. A well-designed gauge cluster, which is telling me that in the past 70 miles of city driving, I'm getting 31.2 mpg. We'll be doing a lot more fuel economy tests as the videos roll along. So stay tuned. A medium-sized console between the seats. A mechanical emergency brake, thank you very much. A drive mode that gives you normal, eco, or sport mode. I think I'll try the sport mode for a while. The sun visors extend to block out the sun from side windows. Some cars don't have this. You'd be amazed. By the way, the value package does give you heated seats. Although with the outside temperature being 100 degrees, I don't think I'll need that today. As far as the cabin and interior quality goes, I can say without reservation, I have no complaints whatsoever. I really don't see how they can improve anything. That's just my take. By the way, the trunk is very roomy, 14.5 cubic feet, and yes, there is a spare tire underneath the floor here. Comes in handy if you have a flat. Okay, show and tell time is over. It's time to do some driving, and throughout this video we're going to be doing a lot of fuel economy tests so we can get the real world fuel mileage, which is important if you're buying a car like this. This isn't the quietest engine I've ever used. In fact, it's kind of crude and noisy, but the acceleration is more than adequate with the automatic transmission, especially in sport mode. I'm told it has a top speed of 130 miles per hour, but we won't be doing that today. Instead, we'll just be doing this. Now we're moving. Not bad for a car getting 30 miles per gallon plus. The brakes feel perfect too. I've been driving this car for 3 days, and I already know it's one of the smoothest riding compact cars I've ever driven. So we really don't need to do the speed bump test, but hey, we're already here, the speed bumps are here, so let's just do it anyway. Coming up at 25 miles per hour. Heard a bunch of thumping, but didn't feel it. 30 miles per hour. And here comes the real nasty one. A lot of thumping, but I didn't feel it in the cabin, and that's what counts. And these tires have 36 pounds of air in them, so I'd expect a bit of thumping anyway. If you're looking for a daily commuter, this Elantra is a good deal. It's smooth, quiet, economical, very comfortable. On the negative side, there's a lot of droning from these tires on rough pavement, but hey, it's a small car. You'll get used to it. And like I said earlier, we're going to rack up around 300 miles of driving to test the fuel economy, so stay tuned. So far, with 65 to 70% expressway driving and the rest in city traffic, we've been doing 35.6 mpg, which is pretty good. We're going to reset this into a freeway trip, averaging around 65 to 70 miles per hour. See if we can bump these figures up a bit. According to the computer, we were averaging 65 miles per hour, 35.7 mpg, not much of a change from the previous figure. We'll be doing more fuel economy tests in this video, so stay tuned. We just did an expressway trip averaging around 45 miles per hour. This should be interesting to see what the fuel economy will be. Here we go, 41.9 mpg. Far better, but then a lot slower too. This is going to be our third fuel economy test, and I've been driving mostly in heavy city traffic all day long and all evening long. Doing a lot of heavy passing too, so we're going to pull over and see what the figures say. Well, I tried to get the fuel economy as low as I could. Had my foot in the gas all day, but I can't get it to go below 31.4 mpg. I'm not complaining, it's pretty good. So here's my take on the Elantra. If you watch my videos, you know we don't pull any punches. We tell you all the good things about the car, we tell you all the bad things about the car. And that's the problem with the Elantra, because I've been driving this for a week and trying to find bad things to complain about, but I just can't. Sorry guys, there's nothing to bitch about here. I think they did a pretty good job of developing this vehicle. The price is right, the fuel economy is fantastic, and you get the 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty. Good selling point for me. So if that's the type of vehicle you're shopping for, give the Elantra a look.